know what that is.
You can't
No,
take a chance in
no,
this day and age.
no, you cannot. So, you know, he's turned 81, so I'm like, don't go anywhere. Don't leave.
Oh,
Go sit down.
I know.
Although he's more like, he's in better shape than I am.
Right. That's how I feel
No,
about Judy
seriously.
Corwin.
Oh, yeah, no,
She's like 83 and
he's like,
she's like way
look what
better
I can
shape
do.
than me.
He bent down the other day, went all the way down and came back up, and I was like, what? I can't do that. Like,
That's a sign of really good health.
yeah, I know.
Bite.
Maybe you can do that.
I know.
I can't do that.
Did you bite her?
I
Soon
did.
enough, though.
It was very lovingly, though. It was a very loving bite. Yeah. I've been biting my lips so much.
Me too. I look like a cold sore.
Chapped.
Yeah, they're really red.
I can't believe I've never met Aurora and Darby. She's amazing. She's so sweet. She's the best.
Going to go on.
Hi, Kenzie. Oh my god, honey, I have so much makeup for you. Come here. She like gave me like a shit ton of expensive ass makeup. It's so cute. And then she was like, if you, yeah, if you ever need anything, like I'm just call away. I'll pick you up at like whatever time. You just morning, go eat dinner and eat breakfast, eat lunch. You know, just to talk. And I'm like, I love you.
Yeah, I had brunch with her one time, and it was the best.
Oh my god, guys, there's a microphone
I'm
right
so
there.
hungry.
There's no wand.
I like brunch. She's like, hi, honey. And I was like 5, and I was like, it's on. Yeah, it is on. I didn't know that.
So I guess we should start in a second. If you, well, I was gonna say you could start encouraging people to like kind of sit down. I will. Well, yeah. Actually, I need Lilas to decide that. I don't know where.
She always enjoyed maybe
10 minutes. Oh, if you want to be the first person to talk? I mean, it won't be. It'll be after we do the songs.
Would it be 5 to 10 minutes, do you think?
I hope not. I guess they'll know that like it's about to start.
Yeah, I'll just say something like
Okay,
about
yeah,
5 to 10
yeah, yeah.
We'll be starting the service in 5 to 10 minutes, and this is really geared for you, dude, and you online folks.
Hey, Giles. I just texted you the first one. I texted you the first song. It should, the music that your dad and Judy recorded together. So check your phone, and you might be able to like plug in and broadcast, right?
Like, can you come over here with me? Am I gonna stand back here? Well, you can stand wherever. I just want to talk to you. Oh, yeah.
8 inch. Okay, so he's going to give me the rest of them, and here they are.
So what do you want to do?
So I'm going to text them to you. Whenever. I just want you to have them.
Invite other people to come up. And then Sophia. So this is Kenzie! I'm sitting here first.
Here comes I'm not shocked. I'm not shocked at all.
I'm a little surprised. 28 right now. Crazy.
When? Don't make me go after somebody super sad, because I won't be able to talk. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm just giving you a hard time. You got them all? You should have 4. All right, it's done. Let me call dude and verify. Call dude.
Play this on the live stream. Let's stop the live stream and play it. Do you want to do the
Or
prayer?
actually, you know what? We can play it. It's just anytime we don't know when the stream is
C. Scott. He's with Jay right now. What do you want me to go over there? Just get off the stage? I'm going to go over here. Okay. Let me get my water.
Hey everyone. Thank you all for coming today. It feels really weird to be on a microphone, but I'm glad that there are people who can be joining us live stream to celebrate my mom and to remember her. It's gonna be pretty simple. We're just gonna play a couple songs that she loved, and I'm gonna read a little bit, and then we're gonna have people come up if they want to talk about her too. And Shilo's gonna start that for us. But anyone who would be welcome to come up and say a few words about her. So we're gonna go ahead and Giles is gonna play the first song. Oh, she always said that voice just cut right through. Mom talked about how when you would be in a crowd, there would be these natural pauses where there would be a quiet. And if you just waited for them, you would notice them and there'd just be a lull where there would be a break in the conversation. I'm just gonna have a moment of silence for her. And we can just listen to the wind. As I started writing this, I knew that anything I wrote, anything I did, my mom would love and appreciate, because she felt that way about all the efforts I made for her. And I want to make a strong effort for her right now. Mom was the youngest daughter of a highly rational intellectual and an emotionally connected intuitive, and was an incredible blend of the two. Nani, my grandmother, worried because Mom didn't have a healthy appetite as a baby and would leave carrots in strategic places around the house for Mom to find and maybe eat. She was never really interested in food until her first pregnancy, but after that, she enjoyed it with abandon. I can't tell you how many times she would describe to me the best meal she had ever had, and it would be the last one she had eaten. She loved my dad's cooking. She grew up on Shoal Creek, and she spent most of her early childhood outside, alone, in a state of being, with nature. Paddling the creek in her small boat, exploring the woods, gaining her instinctive connection and understanding of nature, and her deeply felt love of the earth. She met my dad, Jay, in junior high. Senior year, he declared his love for her, and from that moment forward, she was all in. They dated through early college, and after a few years, they got married in a quick 2-week engagement. Mama and Nani, our grandmothers, organized everything. Mom never cared about those kind of details. She just wanted to be married to the man she loved and would spend the rest of her life with. Lilas was born 13 months later, and the rest of us followed within a few years each. 80, Dude, Sophie, Lizzie, Quee, and Jojo. Mom was a tender mother. With the early kids, she would take hours to put them to bed at night. She played songs. She told stories, hugging us so closely. Her arms were always a safe harbor. She was a present and aware mom, but never hovered with young children. She believed in providing a space for them to explore and experience the natural world. Often at the river, she would be seemingly napping in the sun, and as soon as the sounds changed, she was up and she was there. She got incredibly good at motivating and mobilizing her large pack, but there was always a feeling of free to be you and me, an encouragement to be ourselves, our essential selves. She was interested in all and everything, and it was always reading and trying to learn. From youth, she felt an empty yearning for something more to life that had her searching and exploring spiritual paths all around the world. Her inner life was always an important part to each day of her life, and she strove to make efforts every day to be aware and grateful and present to her life. Oh, Mom loved music. It transported her, spoke to her, and affected her on a deep, emotional, physical, and intellectual level. Chopin, Van Morrison, Bob Dylan, Van Cliburn. She loved so many different kinds of music, and she shared it with my dad and all her kids, and all her friends and all her family. She was a guitarist and a pianist, and she loved to sing, and she brought that to all of us. We would all sing and play together. She had the ability to see things through. Her amazing willpower influenced and taught all of us. If she started a project or a health regime, she would see it through to the end. She would actually get results. She took good care of her body and all her kids and her husband and everyone she knew, always exploring alternative and preventative medicine, feeding us healthy food, and exposing us to nature and its healing elements. Mom was really interested in really unusual things. And she was always looking for people willing to talk about all the different things she was learning. She was not much for small talk of the usual kind. She and my dad looked into and explored so many subjects, and they shared a true enjoyment of being together. They would look into each other's eyes and just smile. It was an exchange I've seen 1,000 times, special and private, but I always felt part of that love. Mom had strong opinions, but she truly accepted people for who they were and where they were at, and was interested in getting to know people on a deep inner level. She wasn't concerned about the exterior. She would try to learn the heart and soul of a person. She was faithful. Faithful wife, mother, friend, aunt, daughter, sister. She had a strong sense of right and wrong. And though she didn't seek trouble, she was not afraid to face hard times and strife, and to follow the path she knew was right for her, and that path that resonated with the deepest wishes of her soul. As my dad said, Mom was love and light. She accepted. Oh, now we move forward without her physical presence in the world with us. But I feel her with me. I'll always carry her with me. And be grateful to the relationships she gave me, my family. The greatest compliment I can give Mom is that I want to live my life trying to embody the way she lived, striving to be present. Feeling joy in simple moments, in ordinary tasks like washing dishes, listening deeply in conversations, and interested in the world.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for being here. I'm going to read a poem. Or try. By E.E. Cummings. I carry your heart with me. I carry it in my heart. I am never without it. Anywhere I go, you go, my dear. And whatever is done by me is your doing. I fear no fate. I want no world. And you are whatever a moon has always meant, and whatever a sun will always sing is you. Here is the deepest secret nobody knows. Here is the root of the root, and the bud of the bud, and the sky of a tree called life, which grows higher than soul can hope or mind can hide. And this is the wonder that's keeping the stars apart. I carry your heart. I carry it in my heart.
Hi, I'm the second youngest grandchild of Judy Edwards. I'm not good at public speaking, never have been, so there's people I hear I don't know. So I just want to say hi. A lot of you Judy knew from Gurdjieff meetings and family friends and stuff like that. I just want to say thank you so much for being here. I know she'd been so sad that this is the reason, but she would also been so happy to see everyone here together. I remember going up to Cisco with Judy and Jay, and I remember she would take me to Waverly's and see John and Mary Kay. She would take us, and she would just be so happy, and I hated playing violin as a kid, and she would force me to play violin with her while she played piano. She would bribe me. And I just wish I could play with her one more time. She knows how to make you comfortable in your body. I was wearing a skirt today and I changed. She would compliment you on anything you did. When I first got into baking, I knew I really sucked at it, but she would eat it anyway. Even though she was known as the food pope, she didn't like eating sweet things or stuff. Every time I got something and I was like, Grandma, try it. She'd be like, there's stuff in that, isn't there? And I'm like, yeah. She'd be like, all right. She would eat it. She was an amazing woman. And I think that she's here with us because it was gonna rain today. And as soon as we lowered her body, the sun came out and the wind started blowing. She was an amazing grandmother. And I know a lot of our grandchildren in this family were a really big pain in the ass growing up. I know I was. She always made, when we were sad, she always found a way to make us feel better. I know when my mom was sad, she would call her up. She always would talk about people she met at Gurdjieff meetings and how close that she was. She was so happy every time she went to a Gurdjieff meeting. She loved it. She loved hanging out with people. She was really a social butterfly. The family friends that are here, I'm so happy you've made it. It's really amazing. The family friends, everyone. Thank you.
Hello. I'm the number one grandchild. Thank you. during the pandemic, I was fortunate enough to spend a lot of time with them, Judy and Jay, up in Cisco, which I never got to do. And we had a lot of really deep, interesting talks. And one of the things that she said kept with me, and it was, when we're born, the stars in the sky and the placement in which they are imprint in our souls and make a melody. And we go through life creating songs with others. So I thought that was really beautiful because this is a song and it's for her and we're all making it. And she had a beautiful melody that we all made songs with as well. And I just wanted to share that with everyone. So yeah, that was it.
I'm going to try and be as strong as those two young women who were before me, but I doubt it's going to happen. Yeah, I'm not. I don't have it. But I'll do my best. I just wrote her a thank you note. Dear Judy, this is my thank you note for the most beautiful gift that you have ever given me, you in my life. You accepted me like a son from the get-go, always made me feel welcome and loved in your presence and your absence, performed pressure point therapy on my feet when I had horrible headaches, helped me try to meditate, played music and sang and caroused with me, and filled my fridge with cilantro to purge your body of heavy metals, much to my chagrin. Without your very existence, I never would have met and married the most amazing life partner, your daughter. And from that sprang such a wealth of love from that tree of life that is you. The Edwards clan, the Kinch clan, the Shelby clan, and the latest addition to the Lane clan, Kenzie, my dearest treasure, who I wish had been given more time. To absorb the love you have always readily given. To have you taken so abruptly does not seem fair, and I wish I had you here to explain it because I know that you probably could. I remember talking with you about death a few times, most of which I was more than likely inebriated and fearing my own demise. You never seemed scared. Of course you weren't longing for it, but you always tried to comfort my fears and the pain you could clearly see underneath my gregarious behavior. You told me not to fear death. It's a waste of time. Death comes to us all, and without it, there would be no life. Your life planted many seeds in mine, and everyone who has had the good fortune to know you. Those seeds have been slow growing over the years, hidden and unnoticed within me. But I will water the soil of my soul with tears, till and turn the grief within so as to diminish the pain, and not to inhibit the eventual and beautiful blossoming of that which your essence has planted within me. You are a true mother to all, matriarch, earth goddess. Thank you for blessing my life. I will miss you so dearly. Please feel free to visit me in my dreams as you have done already. You are always welcome. No matter how much pain it causes when I awaken, the pain is far eclipsed by the soothing love. Your son-in-love, James. P.S. Cilantro is one of the most foulest herbs ever, but I will eat a few leaves on purpose from time to time in your honor.
I think I got it. Hi, I just wanted to say something really quick and short. I'm not a grandchild, and I'm not blood related to Judy. But the reason I wanted to say something is because being here and listening to you guys makes me feel like I am. Because one really beautiful thing I noticed about her that I've been thinking about the past week is that I didn't have the good fortune of knowing her quite as well as some of you, but being in her presence always made me feel like I was her favorite grandchild. Even though I'm not related to her at all, and I just wanted to acknowledge that and thank her for giving me a family of people that I can be with now, even though I don't know some of you guys and I'm not related to you guys. I feel like I am, and I think that's because of her, so yeah.
My name is Abe, and Judy's known me my whole entire life, and I know y'all will get this. There's two things that Lizzie said that really two keywords. One was essence, talking about people's essence, and like Dude and Adrian and I were best friends when I was just a wee lad, and then they moved off to Oregon, and I didn't see Dude again until we were like 20. And then when we reconnected at that age, it was like we'd never been apart. I saw Dude, and it was like we were 5 again, and we were still best friends. And, Judy saw all that. And for someone that I've really never really talked to that much, but I didn't have to, she knew me as well as anyone ever could.
My name's Stephen Shelby. I'm the son of Robert Shelby, Judy's brother. He couldn't be here today, but he asked me to read this for him. Judy, when people look at your heart, may they find beauty. May they say you're beautiful because of your gentle spirit, because of your kindness. May they say you're beautiful because of your bravery and fearlessness. May they say you're beautiful because of your joyful smile. May they say you are beautiful not because of your hairstyle, your jewelry, your clothes, your face. May they find beauty in your soul.
I've known Judy since I was a kid, thanks to the picture you showed me earlier. And I had to get a little altered before I came here today. I'll tell you why. Because sometimes we have to do things to feel something. To really feel something. It's hard these days. And every time I walk through this door, or anytime we had a family gathering, I wouldn't really feel anything until I saw Judy. Then I felt something. We would have these conversations, and sometimes I didn't know what the hell she was talking about. But I never felt talked down to. I never felt like she was trying to explain something to me that I didn't understand. I felt like she clearly loved me and was trying to give me information that was important and to share with me. I wish that I could have spent more time with her through my life. And with all the time I've known Judy, it's been bits and pieces, but every time it was so important. Every little moment was so important. I walked away not thinking, oh God, I walked away thinking, I want more time with this woman. That's what I thought. And one thing that lovely Judy and I had in common, and she'd bring it up every time, is that we're both Virgos. We couldn't be maybe the two different sides of the Virgos, I don't know. So I had to stop and get my favorite rag, the Austin Chronicle, today. And I read the real life astrology. and this is what it said for the Virgos. I encourage you to adopt the perspective expressed by spiritual author Anne Voskamp. She wrote, quote, I want to see beauty in the ugly, in the sink, in the suffering, in the daily, the moments before I sleep, unquote. I understand that taking this assignment seriously could be a challenging exercise. Most of us are quick to spot flaws and awfulness, but few have been trained to be alert for elegance and splendor and wondrousness. Are you willing to try out this approach? Experiment with it. Treat it as an opportunity to reprogram, it's an important word, your perceptual facilities. 3 weeks from now, your eyes and ears could be attuned to marvels they had previously missed. I just picked this up and I said, oh my God, this is just like the weather. These are messages, and I'm going to tell you, Judy's with us, she's going to be with us, and she is going to be giving us messages from here on. God bless you, Jay.
Hi, my name is John Aaron Booker, and I normally just go by Aaron, but because I got to know this family when my dad died, really. My dad was John Booker, and my brothers got to know the Edwards a bit. I'd met them once, and it was really weird in Cave Junction. And then 5 years later, my dad died, and they reached out to Matthew or Noah and said, you should stop here on your way south. We were up in Bellingham, Washington, where I'd moved to, and my dad died in Oakland. So we stopped in Azalea on the way south, and this family just took us in and loved us. I'm so glad to be here, trying to repay a little bit of that favor. And I feel chosen, as Jay and Judy chose many of you to be part of their family. Thank you, each and every one of you that are part of my family, whether you've been chosen to come in, or whether you were born in, or whether you were in Gurdjieff, or however you got to be a part of this family. So I'm so happy to have my wife here today, my wife Kelly, and our kids in our home, but they got to know Judy too, and she loved on them just like she loved on her own grandchildren. All of you are so special, whether you're chosen or whether you were born into the family. So thank you so much for having this today, and thank you, Adrian, for hosting, and thank you everyone who's here physically or virtually. Thank you so much for today.
I wanted to say a word or two after hearing Aaron speak. I met Jay and Judy through Aaron's father, John, here in Austin, mid-'80s, I think it was. I've known them ever since. I had an opportunity. Judy loved music, as you know. And 2 weeks ago, I had the opportunity to sit on a piano bench with her. And I played a rhythm in the left hand, a certain dervish rhythm. And she began to do the upper line, and the melody flowed. And it was really wonderful, and that we were shoulder to shoulder. 3 days ago, I was sitting at the piano bench again, practicing, and there I was shoulder to shoulder, and it still touches me. I'll have that with me for a while, it seems. I don't know if it's her presence, actually, or what's left that my body holds. I don't know. I'll miss Judy. She was at the words I have best for her, she was a very fine mother. And I can't add any much more, but that she definitely loved her children and Jay. And I wonder who's going to laugh at Jay's jokes as much as she did. We'll have to find somebody, Jay.
Thank you, Lilas and Lizzie and the grandkids. My Aunt Judy, when I was little, right, I remember being little, vaguely, but what I remember more than anything else is seeing the world through my mom's eyes, you know? And when Mom got excited about something, I thought I was too, right? I would kind of mirror Mom's reaction. And so I loved Judy from the start because I would see the way my mom looked at her baby sister, her little sister. And so when, Judy and Jay were coming over, and then when Judy and Jay and Lilas were coming over, or when we were going to go visit them, I saw that look in Mom's eyes, and I would mirror it. And it's funny how you learn to love the people that your mom loves. There's also the story that Mom, Lilas, coerced Judy somehow into naming her firstborn daughter. And it just added more to it. It was more of that sense of we're all one family. We were all connected from the start. And then I remember, Judy and Jay had another kid. And I thought, this is great. There's 2 of them. And it really felt that way. And then I had a little brother, and there were 3 of us. And then Judy and Jay had a 3rd kid, and I was like, fantastic, And then it just kept happening. But it was always that way. There was never... this is hard for us because we lost Mom a few years back, and we'd lost her in some ways before that. But those of you who saw my mom in the last years of her life could tell, even in the last week, those of some of the people here who came and visited her in her last days, there was always that little bit of what I'm talking about, the way she responded to people. And so I got to see it a couple of times in those last years when Mom had lost so much, but she kept that spirit. And when I saw Judy come over, and you could still see that gleam of sisters, and it always moved me, and it always touched me. I can't add anything to what James has said about the feeling like you're part of Judy's family. I can only say that being Judy's nephew has always been a part of my identity. It's always been a part of who I was, because it was so much a part of Mom, but not just that, right? Because I grew up with Judy, and I grew up because of Judy, right? She was always a part of my life. This feels like crap. This just feels so wrong and so bad, and it would. I thought this would be 20 years from now. The pain of it is going to last a long time. I'm so glad Lizzie went first. Because I can't say everything that I want to say that she covered, but I want to say that I'm going to miss her forever. And she is here, and she's always going to be here as long as, all of these exist. But I just want to say it hurts a lot too, and that's going to be with me too. But like I said, seeing you guys, and I still have that excitement. I hope I get that gleam every time I see Lion, every time I see Adrian, every time I see all of them. Anyway, I'm Sean. See you guys.
It's probably time for me to come up. I'm his brother. I'm Ashby. If you don't know me, I'm the third kid in the Kinch family. Should have written something down, obviously, because my brain is a scramble now. But I did want to say, just between the burial and coming here, we went to Oakwood Cemetery to see the Shelby elders, and there's a few Shelby cousins here in the line of Francis and Mac Shelby, and I think Lizzie said it just beautifully. An intellectual, an engineer, and Nani, for those of you newer, know she was just a spirit, just the most pure, loving, joyful human to be around. And I've always felt Judy was exactly that, this perfect synthesis of the two of them. She was such an intellectual and so curious and just constantly seeking out ideas. But then she also had just this joy, this pure presence, which Nani had. And my father, in his inimitable way, if those of you know him, would always talk about those goddamn Shelby women. Those goddamn Shelby women. And there is something about it, an air, an imp, an expression, a smile. And I see it in her children. Christina's got it, Lilas has got it, Lizzie's got it, Sophie's got it. All of you have it, this beautiful smile, and it just lights a whole room up. There is something about those Shelby women, and it's a marvel to behold. And I think the other thing about Judy that hasn't been said, but you all know it, it's super important to her identity, was she was like a collector of stories from the Shelby lineage. And even just in the last few years, I've been learning more and more new stories about Austin and the place of the Wrights and the Shelbys in this town. And she really held up, my daughter, Shelby, when Shelby was coming up, she lifted her up by telling her these stories about these incredible women in this lineage. These strong, powerful, smart women who held their own anywhere they went. And again, we were there today and saw that line of the three unmarried sisters in that Mac family, as well as Mabel Leibowitz, and to a person, just incredible fortitude, strength, courage, intelligence, wit, and she taught that. She taught that to all of you, right? But I watched her teach my daughter to find that character in herself, and she did it with all of us. There's so much more to say, but I also just say that being here in this space and thinking back to my childhood and the spaces that she inhabited, all of us have magical qualities about our childhoods, and it's an incredibly magical part of my brain and my memory is the time I spent with 80 and Dude and Lilas when we were little bitty, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's what I've been thinking about a ton in this last week, is how magical that time was and how important it was for me just as a human being. Aunts and uncles play a particular role, and away from being able to be away from my family and feel a whole different energy and a whole different life and a whole different way of being. And Judy was at the absolute core of all of that. And that's what I carry around with me is that love and excitement and energy and enthusiasm from that it probably wasn't even that long a period of time, but just that few years before the caravan headed to Oregon. So don't have a big ending, but look forward to talking more to all of you today about Judy and what we're going to carry around from her.
Would anyone else like to come up?
Hello. I don't have very many memories of Judy, to be honest. But what I do remember is being more calm with her and feeling more secure and safe. And whenever she would come into a room, it would just immediately feel more positive. And she made me feel more secure and more safe and more comfortable to talk about things to her. And storytelling was something that I got a lot of, which was helpful whenever I was below the age of 10. I don't have very much to say. Just wanted to.
Hi, I am James's sister, Christy. I had no intention of talking today. This hit me a lot harder than I would have ever expected it to. And as I listened to all of the different people talking about how she impacted their lives, I realized that the beauty of Judy was how subtle her impact was and how you didn't even realize it was there. One of the greatest things about James and Lilas's union, other than my favorite person in the world coming out of it, is the way that the Edwards embraced us as a family, and the way that, you know, those two families came together, and there was this just really genuine love. And it was very clear from the very beginning that Judy, as a patriarch, a very quiet leader that she was, really was the source of, she was the embodiment of that. She's what made that happen, I think. Or certainly reinforced it and kind of expected it. So that was kind of all I had to say, other than the way that Judy impacted your life, like I said, was very subtle. I literally hated the smell of patchouli. Hated it. Every time I smell it, I think about being hugged by Judy. And now it's a wonderful smell for me because of that. And it was just, to me, that was another example of how she just had this impact without even meaning to have an impact. That's all.
This is probably the lowest it's been. I don't know if you can hear. I'm Elise. I just have so many images. I met Judy when I was 18, shortly after Adrian and I met. And we went down the long Holton Creek Road in Cave Junction. It was like, where are we going? And came into the cabin. It's beautifully candlelit, kerosene lamps. She'd made tofu enchiladas because she knew I was a vegetarian. And everybody hated that. Except for me. And she
just came right up to me, like, get out of the way. I mean, she was basically, without words, clearing the way. And I literally walked in, and she said, Elise, come here. And she just wrapped me up in the most intense hug. And then she, like, looked at me, and she always looked right into my eyes, just straight. You guys know the Judy blue eyes. Her stare. She looked right into me, and then she just did it again. It might have even been longer. And she said, thank you. I think you all know what that means. And we've been having amazing, we've just had so many beautiful moments. Judy and I shared a love of nature, so a lot of my best times with her were always outdoors. Sitting by a brook or a river, laying on sand, looking up at the sky. And I remember, she was really into the Alpha Pacer years ago. I think she still is. And the Alpha Pacer is this device that you can put over your eyes, and it's all dark except these like red lights that kind of come across, and they can cause you to feel calm and soothed and like you're healing in some way. And I knew she had showed that to me, I don't know, 25 years ago. And one time we were on the beach up in Oregon, and I was like, Judy, check this out. And we laid down next to each other on the sand and looked up. I'm like, put your hands over your eyes really, really tight and put them against your face. And about, 2 minutes into it, I was like, what's that like for you? The Alpha Pacer. So when you are laying down and you've got some sun and you want to heal yourself, you don't need anything but your hands to do that. And it's going to make you feel good with some deep breaths. She and I breathe together a lot. I obviously haven't written anything, but yesterday I was prompted to just read the chapter in The Fellowship of the Ring. Her favorite was Goldberry and Tom Bombadil. That was her favorite part of the whole story. And she and I were so outraged when the movies came out that there's no tribute at all to these characters. I'll read that chapter later today if you guys want to sit around and we can have that. But you'll see when you hear it, or if you read it again, I recommend chapter 7, and you'll know exactly why. That was her favorite. And I've got Quee with me now because Quee, after I met Judy, Quee came up to me and did the same exact thing. And even though it was kind of dark, she said, let's go look at the pond. She was 7, grabbed my hand, and gave me a tour of the pond at Holton Creek, the woods. JoJo joined us. And your mom was just, I could see her in all of you. And that's the thing about Judy, is you can see her in everyone she loved. You see how she looked deeply into your eyes, long and hard, and she got a sense of the essential you. She got a sense of it. She honored it. She loved it. That's what I want to leave with, is the essential, because she and I really, really got, when you strip down all the layers of what other people's tapes in your head, or like society, culture, history, and everybody's different ways of interpreting who you are. Nobody really knows unless you do the work. And you know who you are. And that's all that Judy really ever wanted for anybody, is to figure out your essential self. Because once you can do that, once you can strip it all down and you come to see who you really, really are inside, that's the best place to love. And that's the real place to love in a completely pure way. I love you, Judy. We always loved each other in that way.
I really did not want to speak, but I kind of feel like I should. Mom was such a part of my everyday life. This week has been really weird. I keep having moments. She mailed me a letter. It came 2 days ago. I took my laundry out of the dryer and she'd put it in the dryer and said, take this out, and I hadn't, you know. She called me like 3 times since she'd been at my house to tell me to read a book, to like check this astrology thing because it was going to be really scary this week. And I think I'll say this. 2 weeks ago, she was at my house and she'd gone to a work weekend with Lizzie and Dad. She pulled me aside and she said, I had a dream that I'm going to die next week. And I just want you to know that I'm okay with it. And I want you to be okay with it. And I am, because she knew, and she was okay. She knows. She knows what it is. And I just loved her so much. She was really, in most ways, my best friend, and she did so many fun adventures with me and would just talk to me forever about stupid things that I know she didn't care about, but she cared about it because I did. She read a 60-page document that Adrian wrote for D&D because he wrote it. I mean, and then talked about what it meant, you know? So she was just very involved. That's it. Okay, so I have an older brother. He's in North Carolina right now. He couldn't come down, but he loved Judy so much. So he just sent us a text and he wants me to read this. Judy was an anchor to everyone when I was lost. She was a beacon of talent and pushed us to our hardest, our talents and our dreams. She embraced our flaws and taught us how to love ourselves. She will forever guide us through life. And when Grayson grows up, he will love music as she did. Will love himself just as she would want. I will make sure to honor her oregano on our feet. I'm so sorry I can't be there. Judy is the guide I want to be for my family and myself.
I'm Kenzie Lane. I am Judy's youngest granddaughter. And I just wanted to say a couple things about her because I don't have many memories of her, which I'm very regretful about. But I do have some ways and things that I remember. And I'll share with you a couple ways that I remember her by when I can't think of the memories that I have with her. I hear her in all of my favorite songs. She was always there listening to music.
She loved music. I feel her in the breeze that blows through my window when I'm falling asleep. And I see her in all of you here today. Thank you so much. She loved you all so much.
Hi, grandkid number 2. There are a lot of us, I know. But Grandma Judy was someone that I think I've had more arguments about nonsense with than just about anyone. From the utterly inconsequential to things that meant a lot. And while she definitely had a way of silent pressuring disapproval when she didn't like something, she never said right out no. And would eventually get over it pretty quickly. But in those talks we had, even as children, and on those weekends that me and Aurora stayed with them and laid in bed till noon watching Crimson Pirate or McClintock, pulled away some valuable life lessons. How to argue and make a point, how to stand up for yourself, how to admit you're wrong and change your point of view, how to forgive others for the small things and the big things, how to forgive yourself for things you can't control, and even things that you've done to yourself. How to have fun when there's nothing there. How to entertain yourself. And just how to make the most out of every situation. Even if it's, we've got black beans and nothing else. And I've thrown all the salt on the floor. She always meant a lot to me and was always part of my life. And, sometimes exasperating, sometimes exactly what I needed. So I don't know that it's quite sunk in yet as to what the soul means. I can only smile when I think of her. I'll only laugh. I don't have really any memories that make me cry of her. So just wanted to say that I'll miss you dearly, and I know we didn't agree on a lot, but the things we did are the things that mattered. And thank you.
I think you could be here all day for all the things that were good about her. But the main thing always comes to mind is her love. That she was just love. And I mean, if you've got that, you've got everything. And I just think that I'll never forget her. And those of you who don't know, I'm James's mom. So we have had a chance to be together. And I just wish it was going to continue.
there were so many wonderful things that my mom brought into my life. And a different perspective on this world, a spiritual perspective, and a love of creation is one of the most profound things. I'd like to say a prayer that she taught me that I reflect on all the time and has meant the world to me in my life. And I think it's what Mom really meant. All life is one, and everything that lives is holy. Plants, animals, and people. We all must eat to live and to nourish one another. And we bless the lives that have died to give us our food. Let us go joyfully into the world, resolving by our work to honor the miracle of our existence. Thank you all for being here. I know Mom loved each and every one of you so much, and I do too.